What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarouche.
And this is The Expanse, episode 4-6. Six, Displacement.
Crushed it. Well done.
Y'all ready for this? I'm excited. We have not watched an episode of The Expanse in a minute.
Yeah, it's been a second because we recorded several before we went on all
No,
our
we watched
travels.
one last week.
Was that last week?
Yeah.
Was it? I've lost track of time.
I'm falling apart.
Guys,
I
we
can't do this.
did New York and then Vegas and then a wedding. I
know. I'm literally like,
I'm
and we've
covered
been
in
posting.
bruises. Like, I took a pole class for
man.
the bachelor party and it was...
You did? How was your first pole class? Did you enjoy stripping?
No clothes came off, but it was a lot of fun.
What?
Yeah, it was just the pole dancing part.
Blasphemy. If you want the full link through, actually go to patreon.com/nerdynightly. But if you don't, stay here, because we're about to see an election?
Oh, already? Wow.
No, probably not.
Yeah, that feels like an end of season kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. I'm excited for this.
Me too.
Because it's volcano time. I like volcanoes. I'm a volcano boy.
It's like a reactor failure.
For a gigantic reactor.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a big one.
So if you don't like it.
Holden looks so old there.
Yeah.
He's just tired.
No more conversations about this. It's not going the way I hoped.
Fusion reactor underneath it, the whole damn thing just blew.
Okay, that's bad.
Very bad.
Thanks, Holden.
There's a shockwave coming around the planet at the speed of sound. With a tsunami behind it.
Fuck me. That's gonna put like a third of the continent underwater.
The settlement is gonna get wiped clean off the map.
I'll call you right back.
Hey
It's
guys,
like-
the situation has changed.
It's like The Happening, where you show up and the planet is like, fuck you.
We have an emergency.
Just mass airdrop.
They figured out how to do that in the future. It's not just one-to-one anymore.
Super useful.
I can't speak for Avasarala or Earth, but I give you my word. I'll do everything I can.
Beltalowda, gather your things. It's time for us to go.
What else you gonna do? Like, you know.
There's also like 40 of them. So and it's a planet. Like, it's not like there's not space.
True.
Is Mama angry?
She's worried.
I kind of yelled at her.
She nearly died.
She's bleeding out in space.
I wanted to leave.
No,
She didn't tell me
baby-
to do anything.
Baby girl.
He's got very kind eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I need to tell you some things about what your mother has done. It won't be easy to hear.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's a great shot!
I'll be up there soon enough.
She's touching her eye and the other person had the thing in the eye.
Look,
I don't like it.
I know. Guess what? I also... What was that?
I have no idea.
Are we watching Oppenheimer now?
I need to thank you.
No, you did not.
I would have died.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Like a little bit.
Just a little bit of death.
Girl, open up a channel to Felcia Mazer, right? On the Barba Piccola.
Oh boy.
It's amazing that the AI can understand him sometimes
Right?
when he starts to like mumble his accent.
Are you all
Papa told me what you did. All those people who died on the shuttle.
Ow.
Uh-oh.
The radiation from the blast is stopping their fuel from igniting.
Looks like the Barb and the Eddie are in the same boat. All their systems check out okay, but as soon as they try to fire up the reactor, zilch.
Looks like that proto-molecule is back at it again.
Fuck.
That rascal. That wascally wabbit.
That meddling proto-molecule.
I really thought he was about to pull out a lightsaber, and I got very excited.
Yeah.
Can't trust anyone anymore. Sad. Splits at the same spot.
I like that we're doing Breaking Bad on Mars.
Hey,
Hey, what are you doing right now?
what do you got in mind?
Bobby, at least don't get him involved in all of this.
Who, the kid or?
No, the other vet. Oh, that wasn't that bad.
Aren't the first ones the smallest?
Yeah, but for like an earthquake, like...
I've never experienced an earthquake, so I do not know.
All of the reactors are out on every ship in orbit. The fuel pellets are no longer fusing.
Yeah, the old blue
I
goo.
didn't realize that was going to affect the shuttles.
You did it?
No, I thought that would just affect the big ships.
He helped us so we could bring him here. He may be done with us now.
Seems a little bit ungrateful.
Oh no, this is so bad.
The light shuttles from the Israel and the Barb use chemical rockets, which means they'll still work.
Oh, okay, I was right.
So sooner or later, the Barb will fall and burn.
Dorothy's batteries will last longer, but eventually...
We all will.
Love that. That's great.
Gravity's a bitch.
I'm not risking them both, no matter what deal you make.
We'll just have to make that work then, won't we?
I feel like no one would really care if he died. Like, everyone would kind of be okay with him just being dead.
I don't know. Amos's girlfriend seems to feel like she owes him something.
Know. We can just say he was on the first shuttle and he's already up there. Don't worry about it.
Sure.
He's just such a prick.
Yeah.
And, like, it's verging now on, like, you don't have the resources to hold them off completely. Why would you kick them when it is this bad?
Yeah.
You're trying to instigate a fight in a bad way.
Yeah.
You'd probably win that fight.
This is something is going to go wrong.
Is there a problem with the shuttle?
We just lost contact with the chief. Stand by.
Well, that conversation was fucking pointless.
All we're picking up are high-energy particles in the vicinity.
What's going on with the moon?
They think it might be melting.
Melt?
This just keeps getting worse.
We make the town into a reinforced shelter that can handle 200-kilometer-per-hour winds and massive flooding.
Plan C sounds like everybody dies.
Assuming that works, you still have to seal it behind us.
We'll figure it out.
We don't have a lot of time.
We'll figure it out fast.
We also don't have any other options.
Yeah, you got a better plan? It's fine, the moon is just melting.
Yup.
I'm simultaneously losing contact with 3 ships in orbit. That can't be a coincidence.
The probe will reach New Terra in 15 days.
Great.
Oh, we don't need a babysitter.
Those are not the conditions of the armistice.
The OPA violated those conditions first.
Makarnaris is not under our control.
Then why did you promise you could deal with him if you could not?
They could deal with him. They just voted not to.
Democracy.
This is the tough thing about, like, Drummer made the right call for the belt, but, like, the tougher call for their position.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
We are both familiar with unforeseen consequences.
I gotta say, I feel kind of used.
I can assure you, you were. Yeah, I've got a meeting. Can't miss it.
Gotta go deal drugs. / steal military tech.
Yeah.
I will.
That was so uncomfortable.
So awkward.
Don't ever kiss me on the forehead like that.
She got $1,000.
I have no idea what future money is, so.
Fair.
I love it. Bobby and I just had the same reaction to
Yeah.
that.
We're like, oh.
Wow. Why do you care?
That's not an answer.
Neither is yours.
Relax.
If you'd like me to beat the shit out of you again, keep it up.
She's like, yes. I mean,
yes,
I mean,
please do.
Mommy.
Bobby Draper.
Yeah, I don't care.
She's the worst drug dealer ever.
I've prioritized the components in terms of value and ease of disassembly.
Study up, people. It's gonna be a very nice score.
Bobby's just a full-on member of the team now. Not good at it, but she's a member of that team.
Yeah. She enjoyed it.
It's Miller time. I'm surprised you left at that.
All around here.
The Belters had some mining gear that we could use.
Did you try knocking?
Speak friend and enter.
The difference between us all starving to death and some of us surviving may be how many mouths we're trying to feed.
There's a lot of people.
There's a lot of Belters. If it comes down to them or us, it's us.
Is there no food on this planet? We haven't really seen anything like... There's metal, but...
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it, but...
Yeah, I don't see much. I see a lot of rock.
Yeah.
There's also, like, no animals.
Yeah. I guess I just hope they brought enough food, but, like, for years? Like, I don't really understand.
I don't know.
Maybe the goal was to set up, like, gardens and shit, but that they weren't able to do it in time.
Mm-hmm.
They have the seeds and stuff, but not the... Whoa!
Nice.
That's not good.
That was cool as shit.
Yeah. It's much better than those fucking machines you stick your face in and...
Maybe that would actually
Cuff your eye.
tell me what color my eyes are. What? They change depending on my shirt color.
Uh-huh.
Whoa! How fucking long did that take to put on? This is gonna sound so dumb, but his right nipple is so impressive. The makeup team was like, hey, now that we're on Amazon, could we win an Emmy, please?
Right?
We need to monitor it.
Already in motion. In a few hours, every available OPA asset will have eyes and ears on that ship.
I love that they're not hiding shit from each other anymore.
Yeah.
They've developed a real trust.
They went through some shit.
I'm glad I was wrong and he didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking great.
Yeah, he's so good.
So much for your high-end source. We're gonna need a refund.
Don't hold your breath.
Is he just putting the same code in over and over again?
The hydraulics that operate this door run through the base of the terraforming tower.
Bobby, you just had an out to not commit a crime.
There's not much air in this.
It's enough for me. This won't be the hardest thing I've ever done.
Well.
She's like enjoying being a criminal now. Oh, God, this reminds me so much of being 13.
Blowing shit up?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Blowing shit up. I was a young boy.
How did you blow shit up?
With very small, like, firecrackers. Nothing like...
Oh, you put off fireworks.
Kind of, yeah. I didn't have bombs or anything. I wasn't raised in America. I was raised in Canada.
Of course.
Are you sure it's safe down there?
Nope.
Oh.
What was that for?
In case.
He's like, I don't get it.
That's like a man who's like, oh, fuck, I need to dump her. Amos doesn't seem like the PDA type.
No. This worries me, though. They're, like, expecting, like, flooding. And they're going, like, into somewhere...
That's, yeah.
That's lower down. wherever they are, it's like barren.
Yeah. Which, for like long-term colonization, just seems tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have time to make it back to the ruins. Get back inside and brace yourself.
Oh, shit.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, fuck. Oh. Oh my god. Honestly, most of the structures are still fine.
They're still, yes, they're standing.
The windows are shattered, so that water's gonna hit like a
is.
fucking, I don't know.
Yeah.
The concert venue's fucked, but
you're
like.
right, you're right. The car flipped over.
I thought that was gonna be the end of the episode, and I'm like, what is the like stinger this ends on if it's not that?
Yeah.
I should be down there with you.
It makes me feel better that you're not.
Same to you, Alex.
Oh, it was understood.
I love him so much.
I'll check in soon.
They didn't take the kids first?
This was, I think, the family that was like hiding behind the curtain.
Fuck. Yeah.
You won't be alone. There'll be a fight. And we need ships and belters with guns.
When Fred and Dawes see this, they'll give us whatever we need. This time, Mako won't be able to talk his way out.
Well,
They won't go do it though, right? Because they're in the middle of the ring thing.
yeah, I don't. Yeah.
They would have to send people. They're probably weeks away from wherever he is.
Yeah, you'd have to send whoever's closest, I'm assuming.
I really don't understand what Bobby's doing here.
What do you mean?
Well, the guy was like, okay, let's go. And then she was like, no, we need to commit crimes. Is she
Yeah.
enjoying the money?
No, she enjoyed doing. Didn't you see her smile?
Yeah.
She's a person who needs to, like, who needs to do things and like feel useful and like move forward, and like not having had that for so long, and then being a part of a thing like. I'm sure the money doesn't like hurt, but I think that switch happened before she got paid, or maybe it's open to interpretation.
Yeah. I think that I thought that she was more of a, like, righteous person than she is. And I think that this is more like my assumptions about her being...
She's like a person who appreciates structure, but like, I don't know about righteousness. That's interesting.
I thought she was a big, like, honor person, and now I'm like, maybe not.
Well, I mean, like she did potentially get those two people killed, right? So it's like...
Well, now she's gonna get herself killed. Fuck.
There's a guy inside. He's locked me out.
And she's gonna get that guy killed.
Well, shit.
Yeah, Bobby's really fucking up. I think I see where they're going with that pulley system, but I don't know how the fuck it's gonna be waterproof.
Maybe they've got like a foam spray can.
Ooh, a sealant?
That's
okay.
it. Yes. Maybe. Like they're gonna lock themselves in there.
I know it's alien technology that I'm not supposed to understand, but the shape of that building serves no functional purpose that I could possibly, that I can put together.
CGI water.
Maybe. It might not be. It might have been a mini, right?
Maybe.
What the fuck? Okay, leverage.
Nice.
Let's go. I guess the idea is just to block the initial wave, not the flood. That was shot really well.
Damn.
Literally.
Fucking hate you.
That looks great.
Yeah.
All right.
Okie dokie.
Cool. Another episode down. Definitely my favorite episode of the season.
Of the season?
On like a first watch, I'm like, that was...
Yeah. There's some good stuff in there.
I think that part of it for me is that the tension between Holden and Murtry this episode, I was able to like... I have... And just if you've watched reactions, you've seen, like, I haven't, like, loved what's put them at odds sometimes in the episodes of season 4.
Sure.
And I think that the nature of them being at odds in this episode was the strongest of the season so far.
Okay.
Just because it was a little bit more like, oh, we have to work together, but we still don't like each other.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, Murtry just, like, running, gunning around in a way that I was like... I don't know how this satisfies your goals.
Yeah, like he's still a cunt, but he's not like outward, like he's not shoving it in people's faces. He's like, hey, it's us versus them. Yeah.
I also think that there's still a weird separation between the Bobby stuff and everything else.
Well, but like even still, it's like the Bobby stuff and the Earth stuff and this stuff. Like there are a lot of, and even the fucking Belter stuff.
Yeah.
Like it definitely like I don't mind things being disjointed and like disconnected and things like that's never something that has been a huge bother for me in terms of like watching TV and like media and stuff like that. But I know we've talked about it a few times and I totally understand and like see how that like can make it feel not more like elongated, longer, like it not as like tight. And I think that there are definitely people who this is their least favorite season, even though they still like the show overall. There's things that they like about this season, but it's that like stop-start almost because we have so many pieces right now, and they're all in different places, and I'm not even sure where they're all in the timeline together, and like how each one affects the other in certain circumstances. Like
the timeline is part of what is confusing to me.
Yeah, I think
because of how we understand the show is not talking about space travel, but that space travel is happening, and so like with the like Marco and Naro plot,
which I think is going to tie into the Belter plot, or the Martian plot with Bobby.
Oh, 100%. I think that it is.
Yeah.
But when we're in their scenes and they're talking about we need to go get him, I'm like, yeah, but not you guys. Like you guys are like a month away from there. Because space is big. But how is Marco and Naro getting around? Because if everything is happening at the same speed, time-wise, Holden has only been on Illis for days.
Yeah,
right?
So the last time they probably saw Marco was actually like weeks ago, maybe, and then he's gotten around faster. Like, yeah, that didn't happen in the same timeline as like Holden stuff.
And I think that it is the struggle that I'm having with this season around the tension of what is happening, because Illis is, and this episode is great. This isn't a complaint about this episode. I think that this is more, I'm in my brain trying to communicate a larger discussion about pacing that I think is less impacted in this episode, but still is a little bit there of like,
and pacing
Avasarala
is also subjective.
Avasarala is clearly lined up with Holden.
Yes, because they have communications, and so we have touchstones between the two of them.
So then that lines, because of that, Avasarala is then lined up with them, which puts Marco and Naro's kind of getting around the galaxy on their side a little bit tough because so little time has passed in the Holden plot since we saw Marco and Naro get voted on.
Right.
And so like it's like, well, how is so much happening over here when we know that there's only been days here?
Which is like weird because there's been the same amount of things. Well, no, actually, the most that has probably happened is with Holden, in terms of like events. But yeah, it you know, the stuff like the political stuff that takes place over weeks as opposed to like Holden's been there for days.
Unless Holden has been on that planet for weeks,
and we're just misunderstanding.
But like,
it doesn't feel like he's been there for weeks. I would say like maybe 2.
Maybe 2 weeks tops.
Right,
yeah.
like that would be my guess. Anyways,
But then on yeah, and then when we get into the Bobby stuff, I find the Bobby plotline very interesting.
Me too.
But I don't feel like I am vibing with Bobby in it. Because like at the beginning of this episode, she goes like, she's upset that the guy's going down for murder, right? That the doc guy's being framed for murder. She looks at the screen. She's like visibly upset by that, so she goes and has a booty call with the other vet, right?
Yeah, but
then at the end of
that, she like helped with the guy, and she was like feeling good about it.
Sure, but nobody died.
Yeah.
Right? And so at the end of this episode, when he's like, all right, we cannot do this right now. We've got to go because the security protocol's changed. Her being the character that says, oh, I have another way for us to commit this crime. And then her leading to this other guy's death, because that guy's seen their faces. Mm-hmm. So they can't let that guy who was locking her out live. So now, like, she's going to be responsible for that man's death. Mm. And, like, and that's okay, right? Like, I think narratively that's fine, but that's going to impact her in a big way. Like, that is her fault.
I wonder if it was one of those decisions where, you know, like, people are having a conversation and you just kind of, like, you jump into the conversation because what you have to say is related, and then realize after you said it that, like, maybe it's something you shouldn't have shared.
No, she seemed excited. She seemed like, oh, guys, I can help us commit this crime.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I think, and I don't know, which, honestly, like, I found Bobby interesting before, and honestly, like, I find her incredibly interesting in this, because either, like, that feeling of having value, again, was so potent for her that she's, like, all right, I'm gonna like work with these people and like and see what's up. Or like I said, like I mean, I've definitely been in a position where I've done or said something without even stopping for half of a second to think about what the consequences are 30 seconds after it, right? Like she might just be like, there is a problem in front of me that I can solve, and my brain goes problem solve, not consequences of solving said problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's now like, oh, we have to redeem Bobby. Like, Bobby, no, it is. There is a difference between being backed into corner and being forced to work for somebody and being enthusiastically solving problems for them when they pop up. Like, those are two different interactions to have with this guy.
She doesn't need to be redeemed to me.
No, but narratively, I think she will be, right? If she starts to go down this road.
Maybe.
But also, like, that redemption, for me, feels like its own show. Like, it feels like Bobby is starting to have her own cast of characters and her own show. And that's fine. It's interesting, and I don't hate it. Mm-hmm. It just feels like that it is pulling further and further away rather than, like, coming around somehow. And I'm sure that it does come around somehow, but it's going to have to come around somehow. And also, like, we're going to have to get back on board with Bobby, because I'm not on board with her right now. Like, when you're, like, backed into a corner and you're, like, working against this person who's forcing you to do this, but she's doing this against her will. Like, it's interesting that she chooses to help him succeed. Mm-hmm. When it just didn't seem like she wants him to succeed.
I think that, like, I think that they have an understanding. Like, they're gaining understanding of one another. And, like, the fact that, like, he came back for her, too, like, I think she's, like, I don't know. I didn't feel
that
like
understanding
this
is
was
murder.
What do you mean?
Like, she's uncomfortable with the guy. I'm having a struggle with Bobby is upset that the guy got murdered and doesn't like their tactics. And also Bobby's helping them. If earlier in the episode, Bobby hadn't been upset about the murder, I wouldn't have the same kind of like, why are we helping? If she hadn't been like, oh, did you kill him?
I think that's very human. People are full of contradictions. You know what I mean? Like if you talk to someone who has come to some kind of like moral conclusion through like flawed logic or just refuses to see like a part of it, they are able to like separate those things in their mind. And like I hear what you're saying. You're right. It's not what's the word?
Congruous?
Yeah, it's not, and therefore very human in a way to me. That like I don't think that obviously that part of the show is not over. Like we're kind of in the middle of it, and I'm so fascinated to see how Bobby feels about her own behavior when she gets out of this. I don't think she's gonna be stuck working for like this drug lord forever, right? Like there's gonna be like a thing where it's like, how much was I forced to do and how much of that was me?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I love the idea of that show. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that show fits into the show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I don't know how you has to tie into Marco somehow, but I again, that is the just disjointedness that I'm like, I don't quite know.
I'm only going to, but that's the redemption that I'm talking about that I want. I'm not going to enjoy Bobby doing this shit unless, and this is why this isn't like a negative on the episode. It's about like
what you want to see, like what
it's about how it feels like a separate show, because in order for this to work for me, we have to have what you just said, the like her dealing with that moral choice.
Right.
And this show has a lot of characters.
Yeah.
And right now it has a lot of plot lines.
It's fine.
And I
Holden
hope that
might be dead,
finds time for that later.
It's fine.
Holden
they're all
is
dead.
not dead.
Yeah, they're all
They're
dead.
fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're fine, but they're fine.
This is now the Bobby show.
I don't know. I just it is the plot line that is the most kind of fine to me.
Yeah.
Other than the election plotline, but that wasn't in this episode, so.
And the one thing that I do, again, wish, which would have been, like, really cool as its own show, is to see the difference in Mars before and after the ring. Because we didn't get a ton of time on Mars beforehand, where everybody had a purpose and all the terraforming stuff. Like, I think we had a good idea of it. The show did it justice, setting that up and now showing the difference of it for sure. I'm not saying that is underdeveloped by any means. I'm just.
But it was
really
all told to not shown.
Yeah, and I find that very interesting. I would watch a show about Mars in this time period because like the changes in it and like, you know, seeing the TV screens and what they're showing, and then you know, these things are being decommissioned, and like, you know, all these people who now like don't have a purpose. Like what does that mean? Yeah, I would
agree with that.
I would watch a show just about Mars in this world, but yeah.
But Marco Inaros, what do you think is going on with him?
I don't know. That's gotta be a setup.
Yeah.
Like it's gotta. He's like, there's no way he could be like careless, and Karina's like, nah, everyone makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. And so it seems fishy to me.
Yeah,
especially because he's standing there, be like.
He's like almost looking in the camera.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I really enjoy them, Drummer and Ashford, right? Like so, or Ashton, Ashford. I can't remember. I really like them both, and so I'm always happy when they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
And the lines between them is really great. So like, I really enjoy their scenes. Mm-hmm. Their plotline is the one that makes me question like how things are getting around them, like how movement in their plotline versus Illis is a little bit weird to me. So I think that like that's the only downside to that, because I think the acting's great. I think Inaros is a great villain. I think that he's like that. His performance a couple episodes was great, and so
him to Naomi does make those things feel a little bit more related, you know.
Why do you think he immediately broke his word so publicly? You know what I mean? Like, he kind of promised, like, hey, like, all right, we'll wait until they fuck up, and then I will lead you guys to war. But he didn't wait for them to fuck up.
I don't know.
Unless Marco is counting the video from the Belters on Illis as the proof that he was talking about.
Oh.
Unless that video from the, like, leader lady.
Yeah.
I don't know her character's name, sorry.
I actually don't know either.
She's great. I really like her.
Yeah.
Especially in her scene with Holden at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, but I can't remember ever having heard her name.
And I'm so bad at remembering names. But
She's great.
She's great.
And
but
you
maybe
think her
Marco Inaros,
message,
yeah.
He took that to be like, it is time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it's tough because it's what I thought was so interesting about him was that I thought that he was going to disappear for a bit and that he would come back when something did happen and pull Belters away from them. But the way that he has done this, I feel like they could easily frame him for lying to the council of them.
Maybe it's a setup. And like you said, Carmina, they can't go get him themselves. They said they were going to show it to people. So maybe he's counting on, like, the UN to come in to try and grab him, and that as, like, an act of war.
Yeah, but all they have to do is publish the evidence, right? Like, I
don't know.
Although, actually, interestingly, they can't publish the evidence to the rest of the belt. Because in order for them to say to the belt that he promised them that, they would have... Oh, okay, this is how he's got them. So they can't tell regular belters what their deal with Marco Inaros is. Because it would tell... In order to do that, they would have to reveal to the UN and Mars that they had him and they let him go. So in order to keep that meeting secret, Marco Inaros is kind of protected from, like, being public enemy number one of the Belters for this because they can't tell anyone in the Belt. Only the council members can know that they had him in their grasp. So this becomes a, like, catch-22 where Marco Inaros doesn't have to worry about them being like, we had a deal and he broke it, because they would have to then prove what the deal was.
Right.
Which would reveal to the galaxy
and the UN
what
would
they did
be
behind
like, you fucked up. Yeah. Interesting.
So, Marco kind of has him over a barrel.
Well, I'm can't wait to see how that plays out.
Yeah. So that plotline's interesting, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I just hope it feels clean timeline wise.
Yeah.
On Illis, everyone gave banger performances today.
Oh God.
What did you think of the lady
done,
kissing
Steve.
Amos? Steve.
Yeah, my teacher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Steve McCarthy. You're great. What do I think of it? I mean, it was the most shocking moment of the whole... There was some shocking, like, violence in this episode, and that was the most shocking moment in the whole episode. Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting that moment came after...
Yeah.
Talking to that guy.
Talking to Murtry. Right?
Can't be a coincidence.
Maybe she heard Murtry call Amos her boyfriend, and that, like, got her thinking about the relationship.
Sure.
She was like, boyfriend? I haven't used that word yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know that Amos likes that. I don't think he likes his shit being on Front Street like that in front of people.
Maybe. Or maybe he's never had that before and he was, like, really into it, which is why he, like, left right away.
I'm just worried that I'm worried that Amos doesn't feel the way she feels. And that she's interpreting him not wanting her to die in a way that... Because he just... And maybe this is just my interpretation of it, but he gave the look that I have seen guy friends of mine give to me.
You're like, oh, I'm in
when
deep.
they, like, introduce a girl to the group casually, and that girl immediately starts to, like, be the, like... This is such a weird thing to talk about, because it's such a, like... It is a concept that is a very, like, weird social thing.
Yeah, where,
dating.
Like, you see that, like, one of the parties is way more into the other person.
Yeah.
You know, they ask you questions about them
Yeah.
and their history and, you know, stories and stuff like that, where you know that the other party is not investing that kind of time or energy into it, that it's just for fun.
Yeah, it's the look a guy gives when you're, like, halfway through the appetizer, and he's like... I don't think that this partner is going to be around long enough for me to have introduced them to you, but we have to eat the entree and the dessert tonight. And I've shared that look with friends before.
Yeah.
I've given that look. And I got that vibe from Amos, and I might be wrong. I might be very wrong.
Maybe. Amos
this
is
is
tough
totally
to
my
read.
interpretation.
Amos is tough to read.
Yeah.
Amos is kind of like...
it was...
all the time.
That scene really stood out to me in this episode, and... It's partially just because Wes Chatham is so good.
Yeah.
when you can see his face. Something Star Wars didn't want to do.
A true tragedy, if I'm being honest. But
yeah, but Holden, a lot of really interesting stuff this episode. I like that a lot.
yeah, there was great
The tension this episode was really high. I thought the handing off from plotline to plotline really worked.
Yeah,
I think not having the election plotline episode helped me.
yeah, for sure. I
don't care about Officer Hollis' plot. But that's my fault. I need to find my way into it because it's gonna keep happening.
It'll come. I have faith.
I think that I just want that plotline to tell me what will change if it goes through.
We already know that.
Kind of. Well, that's a long conversation. That's not really about the show, but more about like.
Well, we've had the conversation before in our reactions.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, we don't need to talk for 30 minutes about it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I enjoyed that a lot. I had a really good time with it.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited. We have 4 episodes left. I hope these things start to I hope some of them start to bind together.
Yeah.
I want the Bobby Bobby and drummer plotline to find their way together.
I have a feeling we'll watch a few episodes this weekend.
Yeah. I want to see Bobby I want to spend some time with Bobby talking to the other vet about why she's doing what she's doing. Cuz she just doesn't seem like her to me, and and if it does to you, this is totally my interpretation, but I'm just surprised. Her advancing that mission when she had an out surprised me, and I'm hoping that as we go through these episodes, I understand where she's coming from. Maybe
she thought that guy who gave them the lead, that the people that he might get hurt for the mission not succeeding. Maybe.
Oh, that's an interpretation, yeah.
Yeah. Generous read of it. Who knows? But, it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, it just threw me off.
Yeah.
But, still great.
Gotta protect my fellow vet.
True.
Maybe.
If you like the video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave mean comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is...
It's me. I'm very hungry for dinner.
Oh, me too. What are we having?
Whatever we have in the fridge.
All right. If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at Nerdy Nightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
Do something nerdy tonight, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.